Yo, what's up, Chaos TV family? What's up, Chaos TV Network? It's your boy, Chaos Hero. Here again, once again, it's been a while. I'm back with another TCG review. And today, we're going to be doing the TCG deck profile review on the much awaited, much anticipated Lunalights. Now, this is not going to be my deck. This is actually a birthday gift that I gave to my lady, my main leading lady, Lady Hero. So, like I said, give her some love down in the comment section. Wish her happy birthday. I got it during February. Her birthday was February. I'm not going to say the day because that's personal. But this is a fusion-based deck, just like the Melodious Divas, but it has actually some pendulum support. Minor pendulum support. So it's a normal type of deck build, normal fusion build, but it has some kind of pendulum support that really kind of works, but it's weird. It's just pure Lunalights, nothing added to it, nothing really outsourced, nothing really insourced. Extra deck may have some minor outsourcing, but other than that, let's get into the deck profile, shall we? Starting with the main deck. Starting off with the main deck, we're going to go into the first monster that you will need in this deck, which is 2 copies of White Rabbit. White Rabbit's basically your first turn special summon. If you get, you only need 2 because you don't want to draw enter. My apologies. I have the hiccups a little bit. Drink some water. You will need it for your first turn. It's something that you want to constantly draw into because if you do, you kind of start bricking a lot. Then you need 3 copies of Black Sheep. Black Sheep is your generic special summon. You can discard her to the graveyard. Then either, I think, add 1 Lunalight monster from your graveyard or banish pile to your hand, or the other effect is like special summon it to the field, I think. The effect is you can discard this card to activate one of these effects. Add 1 Lunalight monster from your graveyard to your hand, except Lunalight Black Sheep, or add 1 Polymerization. So basically, she's kind of like, what was that Frightful card? I think it's Frightful Owl that can add it to your hand. Or is it... I think it was either Frightful Owl or Fluffle Dog. I think it's Fluffle Dog that can add the fusion card to your hand. But it's most generic for polymerization. And she's also like Tam Tam from the Melodious Divas. So basically, when you discard her, you can either add polymerization in your hand. So she's a quick way to get into a fusion. Also, she's a quick way to actually get a monster from your graveyard back into your hand. Let's say like Blue Cat or something like that. But most likely you want to leave Blue Cat in the graveyard if you can summon her out of the graveyard if you want to. Next up, we got 3 copies of Purple Butterfly. Purple Butterfly is your generic boost monster. Other than that, she's also good for a fusion material. Gotta move those to the side. Then, not 1, not 2, but 3 copies of Blue Cat. Copy of Blue Cat you will need Blue Cat. I'm not even joking with you. And to build this deck, it was very hard and very irritating just to get this card. Because it's so rare and so obscure, but people wanted it. Sorry if I bumped the camera, my apologies. 3 Lunalights Collided Chick. And 3 copies of Lunalight Crimson Fox. And for pendulums, you can use them for their skills as well as their effects. 3 copies of Wolf. And 3 copies of Tiger. Now, Wolf and Tiger have different effects. Basically, Tiger can get a Lunalight while she's in the pendulum zone out of the graveyard and special summon to the field. But its effects are negated, I believe. Yep, it has its effects negated, so Blue Cat can't trigger itself off of it. But its normal effect is if this card is destroyed... Hold on, let me put it right back over here so you can see what I'm talking about. Lunalight Cat, its pendulum effect and its scales are 5, and its pendulum effect is once per turn you can target 1 Lunalight monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but it cannot attack. Its effects are negated. Also, it is destroyed at the end phase. So, if you're going to special summon out the graveyard, you better fusion summon into its right now when you use its effect. If this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effects, so I guess that means in the pendulum zone because it is on the field technically, You can target one lunalight monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only use this effect of lunalight tiger once per turn. So the bottom effect is where you can get into blue cat's effect when it's special summon from the graveyard. Its top effect, you won't be able to get it off that well. And here we have Wolf. Wolf's effect, let me bring her to the front so you can see her and see what she does. You know what she looks like. Wolf is a level 6 light attributed beast warrior, and its scales are 1. Its pendulum effect, while it's in the scales, you can not pendulum summon monsters except for lunalight monsters. This effect cannot be negated. Once per turn, you can fusion summon one lunalight monster from your extra deck by banishing the fusion materials listed on the card from the field or the graveyard. So basically, what you can do is set the scales with Wolf, set the scales with Tiger. That's mostly the plan you want to go for. Then you bring back one card with Tiger's effect while you normal or special summon, or like I said, normal summon, another Lunalight monster. Banish the materials, go into Cat Dancer right off the bat. That's only once per turn. And the effect cannot be negated. But that's it for monsters. Let's get into the spells. So for traps, spells and traps. For traps, I run one Solemn Warning. Can't go without that, but you can put either Solemn Strike or Solemn Scolding. It's up to you. Not one, but 2 copies of Lunalight Reincarnation. I only run 2 in this build. Most time you can run 3. It's up to you if you want to. For spell cards, it's more spells than there is traps, unfortunately, in this build, because it's a quick, heavy-hitting punch build. It's not really much of a defensive, wait for your opponent to do something kind of build. That's why I have Lunalight Reincarnation for. 1 copy of Pot of Inquisition, 3 copies of MST, 2 generic polymerizations, 1 copy of Battle Fusion. It's up to you if you want to use this card, but I use it because it's kind of interesting and it kind of works in this build. It really does kind of work in this build. They don't benefit a lot off this build, but it does work in this build. 1 copy of Future Fusion. You only need 1, even though it is at 3. In this build, you're going to need 1, because let's face it, in this format, who the heck uses it? 1 copy of Ultra Poly, because you only need 1 copy of Ultra Poly, because who's going to pay $2,000 and you already got Solemn Warning in the deck? I mean, come on now. That don't make no sense. Now, I know before y'all say anything, you're already paying a steep $400. Because here's the thing. Together with... You're paying half your life points, basically. Because if you use Solemn Warning the first turn and then you use Ultra Poly, you're basically kind of... Your back's in the corner. So that's why I said I was going to put 3 Ultra Polys, but I was like, nah. If I got Solemn Warning in here, I'm not taking that risk. I'm not taking it. 3 copies of Lunalight Perfume. And if you want to, you can get Tensu instead of this, but in my preference, there's a lot of special summoning in this deck, so you really don't need it, in my opinion. But if you want to, you can get 3 copies of Tensu and replace it, but I use 10 copies of Fire Formation Tinky. It gets more Lunalights in the hand, if anything else, and that's what you mostly need most of the time. You really don't need a lot of special summoning, but it is kind of beneficial to special summon because there's enough special summoning in this deck where this deck can actually function okay and somewhat very useful, but at the same time, you don't really need Tensu that much. But if you want to, you can put Tensu and Tinky in here. My suggestion, if you want to, you can take out 1 copy of Polymerization and put Tensu in here, and take out 1 copy of one of the 3rd copies of Tinky and put Tensu. So that way you have 2 Tinkys and 2 Tensus, and we didn't even out. That's a suggestion. Side note. But let's get into the extra deck. Now, for the extra deck, we're going to do pure fusions and only 1 XZs, because at the time I only have 1. But I do 3 copies of Cat Dancer. Basically, all the Lunalights have similar effects where they can attack their opponent's monsters, but the first time that they would be destroyed, they won't. Also, it can attack. Well, some of them can attack twice. So we already know that. Unfortunately, like I said, this extra deck is more of a budget build because some of the stuff I could get to because of funding and, my life. And others were just the fact is some of these cards are really, really, really hard to get to because they're always sold out and they're very in high cost and high demand. 2 copies of Panther Dancer. I'm sorry, y'all. I did not find another Panther Dancer, and the only 2 copies I had gotten were on Amazon and they were sold out. Yes, I know TCG Player is one of those sites, but at the time, TCG Player and their rule of it has to be more than $10. And then the fact that Panther Dancer was only $5 where I got it from, or I think it was $2. But wherever I tried to order it on TCG Player, it wasn't expensive enough to where I could order it. And yeah, that's the one thing. TCG Player is a good place. I would order from them, but that clause where it has to be more than what it's supposed to be, and when you only need a certain card, it kind of makes ordering from TCG Player, in my opinion, inconvenient and very, very uncomfortable for that reason. I'm sorry, but that's just my opinion, and that is my honest experience with TCG Player. I have nothing against them. They have a wonderful stock and a wonderful supply of stuff. It should not stop your decision from what you want from there. Me personally, I only order from Trading Card Mint, so it's kind of been with me for years. Let's just say I'm a little bit spoiled by that crackhead shipping they got. Speaking of which, also look out for Inzectors because I may be running them. And 3 of Leo Dancer. And just to fill the gap where Panther Dancer was, I got Bujanki and Amaterasu. And honestly, Bujanki Amaterasu works in this deck. So you can actually run 3 or 2 of her in here because there are some level 4s where you can go into a rank up, get the banished lunalights that you need back into your hand, and then you can use Pot of Inquisition to get the other cards that you have, like your field spells or anything else, and put them back in your deck. So it's just there. But you can run 2, but right now the only copy of her I have is 1. So, yeah. But overall, that's it for this deck build. I mean, this is a pretty good archetype. I actually like it. I like the way it synergizes around battle, and it's like a parallel opposite to Melodious Divas. It's completely parallel opposite. One says, "Hey, I'm going to just have you touch me, and if you do, you suffer." The other one says, "Yeah, you can try to, but I'm just going to model up everything that you have, and you're going to take damage regardless." But other than that, I do love this deck build. I find this archetype very interesting. But unfortunately, I will not be running it. That will be up to my main lady, the woman of my life, which is Lady Hero, a.k.a. Lad Sparkle herself. She's running that and Melodious Diva. So one of these good days when we do episode of Top Down Throwdown, we will be premiering this deck. Other than that, be sure to look out for my figurine and collectibles and gear review on the Common Rider, Masked Rider Ghost. Also be looking out for some other TCG deck profiles as far as Pokemon. Vonnie just got done building a Psychic deck. It's a mostly Poison Psychic. It's called Psychotic Acid Trip, so check it out if you want to. I will be doing the deck profile because, like I said, she's a little camera shy when it comes to deck profile, so please bear with her on that. But you will see her in another episode of Top Down Throwdown, hopefully. If she gets the time to. Other than that, like I said, month of Mech, March Madness Mech month is coming soon, and I will be finishing. I'm going to try to finish up the Gundam Wing Xaid Dark Matter figure, hopefully, so that I can do a review on it. Other than that, this is your boy Chaos Hero. This is your Chaos Leader Chaos Hero, and I just jumped out the chaos to give you a good review. Peace and deuces, y'all. Thank you for your support.